Welcome to Conspiracy Crypto Pirates, episode 15. 15, baby. We made it. 15.
Oh, not quite.
Yeah.
I guess you said 20 is the one to make.
Yes. Once we hit 20, we're golden. So keep commenting, subscribing, do everything you can because we want to make it to 20. And hopefully to 25.
And then 26.
26?
And then 27.
Yeah. And then maybe the week after that, 28.
Maybe.
Perfect.
Maybe. No promises.
Well, if cryptos keep going up, we will. Did you see what's
Look
happening?
like geniuses.
Yeah. This week I felt like a genius. I was like, crypto winter is over.
Right?
Oh man, that was such a joy to my heart to see just that hockey stick.
Yeah.
And then we got a couple day pullback. But
I mean, it's been going up ever since like December.
yeah.
But it's, like you said, it didn't have this. It was more this instead of this. It's like a 20-degree different pitch.
Right.
You're like, yeah, whatever. Here's cryptos.
Right, exactly. Because, like, I felt like we knew it was going to do the big hockey stick up. You're just waiting for it. Even though it is that small little curve up, you're like, just come on, just go. But, no, it was fun to watch. And, like, it's crazy. Like, all cryptos just blasted off for the most part. Like, Bitcoin, almost hit its all-time high. It was like 68 and change.
Shade.
And then we had the pullback. It was like a day pullback. Excuse me. But they were saying it's actually very bullish the way that it happened because you always have pullbacks after a big gain.
Yeah.
But instead of flatlining down there and going up after a while, the next day it was like literally almost
A V shape.
Yeah, V-shaped recovery. There we go. Sound like an economist. No, but like it popped right back up close to how much we lost in that one day. So that's like very bullish. And it looks like I think this weekend is going to be another probably really green weekend.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So. So diamond hands, stock up, throw it in your ship, and let's go.
Yeah. So where do you think the moon launching is going to happen with Dogecoin?
Great question. I think relatively soon. So obviously the moon launch revolves kind of around Elon doing his thing. And it looks like today, actually, Elon kind of did his first cryptocurrency post that he's done in a while.
Oh.
It was like a meme. It wasn't for Dogecoin. It was just kind of crypto in general. Yeah. Which kind of leads you to think, okay, maybe he's going to start posting and tweeting more. He's obviously thinking about it and looking at it, which, I mean, he probably always is thinking about it to some degree. But, I mean, I think...
Well, he set his alarm clock and it just went off.
Right.
It's like, oh, the crypto's getting.
Yeah, probably. But, when's the Bitcoin happening?
April, I think late April.
Yeah.
I actually,
Let me look
in
up
all
really quick.
my kind of just going through it, I haven't really seen an exact date of when the halving's supposed to happen.
Okay.
But
Let's just see if Google has anything up. This is no way.
what?
You can't make this stuff up. Guessing the Bitcoin halving is happening. It's
April 1st?
It's expected to happen. So you're right. Like, I don't think there's an exact time per se. It's expected to happen April 20th.
420.
420. It's like...
Is Elon in charge of this?
I feel like he is. There's no way. That's crazy. I didn't realize it was...
Can you do a quick research on when is the XRP SEC settlement going to happen?
XRP.
Well, I think it's going to court, and the judge is going to decide the settlement for them.
Yeah, settlement.
As I'm looking at my finger.
Yes, how does your finger... As of October, that's last year. Go ahead and say something interesting.
Oh, sorry. So the lawsuit's going to be settled on the XRP. XRP jumped about 100% and went from like 40 cents to 80 cents.
Yes.
When the judge decided that XRP was not a security, so Gary Gensler and the SEC are not going to be able to control it, and that also makes it act like the SEC views it kind of the same as Bitcoin, which is going to give them the more freedom to be able to, or the investors more freedom to use it as they more view or deem, I guess.
Right. No, that makes sense. I couldn't find anything quickly, so I have to do some more reading. It'd probably be boring for the viewers to.
Yeah, we can probably just stick a date up on the chart if we do one.
But yeah, no.
But that's supposed to happen. So
yep.
April, late April, mid to late April.
Yeah.
XRP, not XRP, sorry. Bitcoin halving, XRP lawsuit settlement happening around that exact same time. I'm assuming the moon launch is going to let that cool down a little bit, and then they're going to try and steal some of the thunder.
Maybe, if not, potentially, yeah. Because I actually thought this altcoin season, so we're kind of in an altcoin season right now. I kind of thought this would be a little bit later. I thought Bitcoin would have more of its time in the sun first. So you might be right. It might be like, Bitcoin kind of did its thing, and then we had all the altcoins also has driven up Bitcoin, and then the halving happens. Bitcoin itself will probably jump. Altcoins might jump some with it, and then altcoin season. I wouldn't be surprised with sometime in that time frame if we get Ethereum ETF as well.
Okay.
I could see that definitely happening. Plus, there's
an XRP. If XRP is settled and everything goes, I can see, and it's not viewed from the SEC to be a security, then I can see the ETF people really wanting to get their hands involved into it.
I've heard rumors of that too. And then I also heard a rumor, I think it was that Crypto Hulk guy. I just saw a quick little video. He's an interesting character, to say the least.
He's not that we watch.
But he was saying that
he'd probably be a perfect guest for us.
I wonder if he wants to come on. Maybe we'll have to ask.
Pirates and Hulks, even though we might have to change our background a little bit.
Anyway.
Hopefully he doesn't come in green and angry.
Yes. Because then you won't see him. Maybe he's here right now.
Right? He blends into the background.
He'd be sitting on the floor. Anyway, but he was showing that all of the BRICS nations have all signed up for XRP and Ripple, and that they also are supposedly. I mean, I don't know how true or accurate his information is. I mean, it looks accurate, but anyway, he was also showing that it look like the BRICS nations are gonna make a law as far as the technology side of the crypto
of the XRP
or just
cryptos
in general, but it favors XRP, and basically it would be like the settlement of like I pay you and it has to settle, and it has to settle within 20 seconds. Which makes Ethereum and Bitcoin obsolete in that regard.
Yeah. Well, Ethereum can upgrade.
Potentially, and probably lots of other ones too.
Yeah.
And then, this clip was such a small clip, there's probably so much more details to it. And that 20-second law thing, it could just be maybe for use for payment purposes, not necessarily you can't use
Bitcoin
altogether.
It's more for transferring funds,
right?
Probably from bank to bank and
right.
Nation state to nation state. Right. So was that part of the ISO 222 compliance?
It looked to me like a new different thing that they were like going to be signing into law and everything. And basically he was just showing that like, well, because of this law, this just proves that XRP is going to be king or whatever, and Bitcoin and all that is, they were saying, is going to be basically go to zero or obsolete, which I don't believe that part.
Yeah. Well, the only thing that I can see if it goes to zero is if there's a nefarious actor behind Bitcoin.
Yeah.
That shows that Bitcoin can be manipulated to their whim.
Right.
Then I can see Bitcoin going to zero. Right. If not, then I can see Bitcoin being more of the gold standard of currencies, or crypto blockchain,
or like a commodity.
Yeah, where you would store it and have it, and it'd be worth a lot of money.
Right.
But you're not going to do your day-to-day transfer.
Right.
It's not like you're going to carry 2 tons of gold with you to work every single day.
Right. Well, and even today, it's not even really feasible. I was messing around with just kind of moving a little bit of crypto from like an exchange to, back and forth. And I think it was what was I moving? It was on the Ethereum network that I was moving this coin. And the transaction fee was ridiculous. I think I moved like $20 and they were charging me $16 just to move it. And like, so it's like that, it's not feasible to be a transactional currency or anything like that. So it's like,
well, that would be, if it was only $16 per transaction, then it would be worth it if you're buying $1 million house.
But it's not per transaction. It varies per, like if I did $1, it wouldn't be $16. It would be 60 cents or something.
Okay.
So what actually what varies it is the time of day that you're doing the transaction. So like if it's like evening,
so if their network is overloaded,
you're gonna pay more. Or if you did it at like 2:00 in the morning, you'll pay less. Which I mean, supply and demand, but it's just kind of weird.
Yeah, but it's not within that practical use case.
Exactly. That's kind of what I was getting at.
Yeah.
But exciting times for sure for crypto. We're getting into the fun season. Right. We'll see where it goes and what'll be next week.
So I had a thought.
Yeah.
Kind of more of a experimental thought.
Okay.
So you have Bitcoin. Its highs was like 69, 70,000, somewhere around there last time. And usually before we hit the altcoin, or not the altcoin,
the halvening?
The halvening, thank you. Before we hit the halvening, we really usually hit about the all-time high.
Right.
But we saw the all-time high about a month early, a month and a half early.
Before the halvening?
What does that even mean?
Is that kind of a buy the rumor, sell the news situation?
But I mean, we're in the rumor right now. We're not on the news.
Right.
And so I do think we're going to have buy the rumor, sell the news when the halvening happens. And then it'll start going up, like it'll drop a little bit.
Yeah, probably like what we saw in the last couple of days where it went up and did a V-shaped recovery.
But why would it hit the all-time high or almost to the all-time high a month before, though?
Well, I think because people are gearing up for it. Like, I don't think necessarily that all-time high number means anything for this next cycle. Like for this cycle, if it blows up, it's probably going to hit 120,000, 130,000 or more would be my guess. So in the fact of it, the 60,000 mark, I think, like I said, it's just going to go up from here. People are excited about it. They know the halvening's coming. So it's just driving the price up right now. So when the halvening happens and everything, I think it's going to go way past that.
Okay. Yes, and I would agree with you on that. And the reason why that I would say is that we're basing the how much Bitcoin is off of the value of it instead of the dollar. So last 4 years ago,
yes,
we didn't have our run of inflation.
Right.
And so now we're going to have our run, and now we've had 4 years of super high inflation.
Right.
Not consumer inflation. There's a difference between consumer inflation and printed inflation.
Yeah.
Printed inflation makes it harder for you to go buy a house.
Right.
Because the value of the house was, if you print twice as much money, that value of the house now just dropped in half. And so the value of the house is going to stay the same, so it's going to jump up.
Right.
Or the US dollar is not going to be worth as much, and so then it's going to go down.
Right.
And so what I think is going to happen is that Bitcoin, like you were saying, is going to hit closer to 120 to 140 because it's going to account for inflation of the dollars printed since COVID.
That
over
makes
the last
sense.
4 years.
So like the value, because 4 years ago, 69,000 is probably worth what, 90 to 100,000 today?
On what we printed and put out.
Well,
there?
I'm just trying to figure out the inflation rate. Like,
well, the quote unquote inflation rate is versus what we're printing.
Right.
I think what we printed is going to be closer to doubling that, which is the 20 to 40,000.
Right. Because they're printing
120 to 140. Sorry.
Yeah.
The only train to buy that 20 to 40,000 again.
Right. Because they're printing at $1 trillion every 100 days.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
It's insane. I don't know how it's sustainable. Well, it's not sustainable. But
it's like we're hoping for some sort of monetary fund to kind of go out there that is able to be used as a currency that might be digital in nature.
Right.
And might be able to track your every move. Crypto.
Yeah. But why is the rum gone? Yeah, we're going to have to get a lot of rum.
Right. Man, it's like we're almost going to have to start our own brand or something.
I know, right? Man, because it probably won't be able to get our rum from anywhere else. We'll have to stockpile
it. If we sold rum for a Bitcoin each.
Oh, I like the sound of that. But it probably cost us 2 Bitcoin to get
to sell it.
Yeah.
To be able to accept it, we would have to give up
the traffic fee. That's why we'll use Dogecoin. It's a lot cheaper. And there's if it hasn't dropped yet, it's dropping soon. Another update to Dogecoin, like a back end update. That's all.
So going back to, I think you're just getting robbed on the platform that you're transferring. I don't think Ethereum's gas fees was 70%.
Maybe, yeah. I know it is high, but yeah, potentially.
But it might be higher on lower.
Higher on lower. I like that. Yeah.
On lower funds being transferred.
Right.
But, sorry.
No, you're good. But yeah, I think that's all the crypto update that I have.
Okay.
Do you have any more crypto news? Speak now, forever hold your peace.
Shoot. Hope you're not getting married to it.
No.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Here's another thought.
Okay.
So where do you think cryptos are going to go in this next bull run? So there's the thought that was the thought last time that everything's going to be accepted and we're just going to continue and go with it, and you're going to get all those hype people hyping it up and it's never going to end.
Yeah.
Until you flatline, and then it's going to be accepted and normalized. Where do you think that's going to happen, or do you think we're going to have another pull of the rug?
That's hard because of 2 things. So traditionally, I would say it'll continue on with the cycle that it has for the last several cycles. But now that BlackRock and everybody else is invested in it, I feel like maybe it will get more stabilized. Maybe we won't see the drops that we will potentially, but I think they could make a lot of money on the drops and the falls and the drops.
I don't see BlackRock as this benevolent.
No, I don't think they are. I'm just
company that's going to be like, oh, buy this, and then like Bitcoin, they don't control Bitcoin,
but they're trying to.
They're trying to, but even when they do, I don't see them saying, well, it goes up and it goes down, you know.
Which is why it might stabilize to some extent.
I don't see, they have so much to gain with another cycle going up and down.
For sure.
That I don't see them not pulling the rug with having BlackRock in there. I can see when banks, because an ETF, you buy the ETF, so they buy the coin, you buy the ETF, and then when it gets close to the top, their store, like if you watch their store of Bitcoin, and it's starting to hit their like buyers versus storage, once it hits here, I can see them pulling the rug because they bought it at $40,000 to $60,000.
Right. But when can they sell? Because it's attached to the people that are buying the ETF, right? So like if I go and buy
they have to buy it before.
Yes, but can they sell it without a seller that holds the note sells it?
Yeah.
They can?
No. So I think so I'm not too familiar, but I don't see how it would be legally possible for them to sell their note when someone holds it.
So that's why I don't know if they could rug pull, as you say. Because if I hold I hold 200 Bitcoin.
Okay.
And I am dishing out notes, basically. People are buying my notes. I'm on the back end. I'm like, cryptos are going down, or I want cryptos to go down. The only way for me to have any power over cryptos going down would be to sell my Bitcoin over here. But because all these people that are dummies, the normal people that own the notes, I have to get them to sell their notes for me to sell my Bitcoin.
Yeah. So, okay. So, what did BlackRock do before they got the ETF?
They bought Bitcoin.
They bought Bitcoin on a third party.
Right.
So, why wouldn't they just buy Bitcoin on a third party and drop it? Or just play the market and let the whales do what the whales do?
They can buy it whenever they want, but I don't think they can sell it whenever they want.
Unless they have own possession of it.
Like they buy their paper back?
No, like they just put in what, $800 million, I think, the other day. And the price started going up, and I think that's why some of the price started going up a little earlier.
Yeah.
Because they're trying to buy the rumor, and I think they're going to sell the news.
But can they sell it if all their notes are being held by other people?
No. Okay. Only when they sell it. But when the market starts going down, these people are going to start panicking.
Right.
They still have it.
Hold the Bitcoin, yeah.
And so, like, if I were to say, hey, would you buy this phone for, say, $140,000? You're like, you know what, it's only going to go up from here. I'm going to buy it. And you're like, okay, so you buy it. And then I pull the rug.
Yeah.
So, and I bought it for $60,000. I pull the rug, and now it's worth $60,000 again. I have $140,000 in my hand. I pull the rug, and then you're like, please buy it back. And then I'm like, okay.
But how do you pull the rug when your coins are still tied up? Do you own another pocket over here?
You can own a pocket over there, but you also have the whales that are making these moves too.
Yeah,
just like all the regular cycles. Once people buy in and the investors are happy with their profits, they're going to pull the rug.
Yeah.
And
you're right.
That's when that's going to happen. And so if they can sell this to you for $140 and then buy it again at $60,
yeah,
they're going to do it all day long.
Yeah, that's true.
And so now you're going to get a bunch of people that are like, oh, Bitcoin's a scam or whatever, and are afraid.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're going to wait 4 years.
Yeah.
And then say, well, you should have probably 5%.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it's not going to hurt them if they put 5% in.
Yeah.
But I think it's like...
cycled.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's going to be this whole cycle.
Right. Because I think the thing that I kept getting caught up on is how they would manipulate the drop if all of their
how
Bitcoin...
did they drop it from almost the all-time high back down from 69 or 68 down to
That's what I
61,000?
How they did that.
Coinbase had a glitch.
A glitch.
A glitch.
Yeah.
And it stopped the momentum. Like, you really think that was on accident?
I know.
They're in cahoots with BlackRock.
Yeah, I know.
They're in bed with them. They get to use their supercomputer. And you get this hype, and the computer's like,
glitch, I need to reboot.
Yeah, like, it's stupid.
Yeah.
When you have BlackRock buying $800 million. Was it billion?
I thought it was billion.
800. I thought it was close to $1 billion.
Oh, maybe that's what...
I don't know.
Probably, because I think they have... You're probably right. It's a lot, but yeah.
Yeah, but let's just say $800 million.
Yeah.
It might have been 800 billion.
Million, billion. Let's do it. It's probably million.
Yeah, but you have that much money flowing in, price skyrocketing.
Yeah.
You don't think that they want a $10,000 discount?
Yeah.
On it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like a 10% discount on that kind of money is really nice.
Right.
Especially when you're going to be selling it here in about a month or two, possibly for $140,000.
Right. And they're probably playing in the futures game, so then they're probably leveraging all of that for 150% leverage.
Right.
That's insane.
And they have a market base that is just like, what is it called when someone hypnotized? They have a group of following that have been hypnotized, and they'll do whatever they say, and they have a bunch of brokers going out there saying, this is what you need to do, blah, 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 blah.
Right.
And then they acquire more and more and more control.
Right. And I think a lot of their partners or whatever are giant, what do you call it, funds, basically. So it's not really individual people being like, I want you to do this. It's just like, I'm in charge of this giant endowment fund. Here, do my job. Thank you. You know?
So, like, if it was me, I would never invest with BlackRock just because of the principles and ideology that they're pushing that is very destructive to America. I would be more inclined to invest with ARK Invest.
Right.
But, I mean, ARK Invest might be doing the same thing, and if you know they're doing the same, put some links.
Yeah.
Get us knowledgeable on
Right.
ARK Invest and how they're colluding with kind of the same thing of what BlackRock is doing.
It's crazy because, you know, with BlackRock, when you give them your money, so like if you buy normal stock, you're like, oh, I'm going to go buy a share of Apple or whatever, you have voting rights.
Yeah.
And when you invest with BlackRock, which they might take your money and put it into Apple or into whatever they want to put your money in, they retain your voting right.
Yes.
So, like, that's how they have power. So, like, they can go buy the majority shareholder of any company out there because they're massive.
Up for sale or on the market.
Or on, S&P 500, be the majority share leader. Now they own all the voting rights. They can run that company however they want with your money.
Yeah. So yeah, that's huge. If you comprehend that like mind blown.
Yeah.
Like if you don't like the way that these companies are going in some of the different directions of their political narratives and like strange,
whichever way
like
that might
Budweiser.
Be. Yeah.
Why are they like cutting their fan base?
Yeah.
I mean, like, no, you're stupid. You should be. What is that person's name? Dylan.
Dylan Mulvaney or something like that. Mulvaney. Yeah, I don't know how I remember that.
I was going to butcher that one. Yeah. Like, why would you have him come on and say Budweiser's the best, and then your stock tanks by billions?
Yeah.
And then pretty much you need who's coming in and saving them?
The UFC?
Yeah, the UFC.
Yeah.
Is coming in
Dana
and saving.
White.
Is he really?
Well, I mean, Dana White owns the UFC.
Yeah.
And he made the contract with Bud Light.
Okay, so that did go through.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. But so you're going to have to go and like him. I bet they hate that they did that.
Right.
But and so it's like having to make deals like that is still, even with him going and saving them on their advertising and kind of going towards their fan base instead of slapping their fan base.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny.
It's still going to take years for them to recover.
I don't know. People have very short memories. Like, I called this back when it all started and happened. I was talking to somebody, and they're like, oh, yeah, Budweiser, they're going out of business. They're going bankrupt. And I'm like, do you know how short people's memories is? Yeah, they're doing the whole boycott. Mm-hmm. That's going to last maybe a month. Yeah, they're going to lose a lot of money in that process. People forget and go back to their habits.
Yes, I would agree with you on that, but you don't create new habits.
Yes, but like, look.
Like, are
they're
you
already
really
halfway
going to go
back?
Like, I'm not a frat party type of person, but you couldn't bring a Bud Light into a frat party, you know?
But give it another 6 months and people will forget that whole thing even happened. I guarantee it.
Maybe.
Same thing, remember with Target, the whole Target debacle?
Oh, yeah, men going into the women's bathrooms and all that?
Well, it was they were selling certain kind of clothing. Like it was like a display up front, and then all of a sudden there was this during the same time with the Budweiser thing.
Okay.
So then like a bunch of people were boycotting Target.
I mean, I boycotted Target a long time ago because they let adult men go into the women's bathroom, and I'm like, I'm done.
Yeah.
Like, I think I've stepped in that place maybe 5 times in the last 10 years.
That's great. That's crazy.
Like when they did that, it's like, have they changed their leadership? Have they changed their management?
No.
Like, that's the direction that they want to go.
Right.
But
like, I guess what I'm kind of getting at with the whole like boycotts and everything. Mm-hmm. So they were getting boycotted by like heavy by like the far right or whatever.
Yeah.
For literally a couple months. You don't even hear about it anymore. Like, people were like staunch, I will never shop here or whatever. It was like a thing, and then all of a sudden, nothing.
Yeah, I'm still going on that thing.
But I'm just saying the mass majority of people, like your soccer moms and everything that were very against it, they've moved on to their Stanley Cups. They're gone.
Mine.
Oh, man.
The thing is, the hard thing these days is, like, say you want to go to Walmart instead. Anything that you want to buy at Walmart's locked up, and so you're going to have to wait half an hour. So you might as well just get the Walmart Plus, which is kind of an advertisement for them, even though we're not getting paid by them. But it's kind of diss on them. Right. So just get the Walmart Plus and just buy it and have the Walmart employee shop and not even deal with going to the ghetto.
Right. It's true.
That's the only thing Target really provides is it's a step up from Walmart, which still isn't that far.
Yeah.
Like, okay, you're a step up, so you're a little safer, and then you let your kid go into the bathroom with a guy.
Yeah.
Your daughter, 5-year-old, 8-year-old daughter going.
But you know how like Costco, how you have to have a membership card or whatever to get in Costco? Well, Target, you don't have to have a membership card, but as equal to that membership card, you have to have an Apple Watch. Not kidding you, every woman that walks into Target has an Apple Watch. It's kind of an unspoken rule for Target. Just an observation I had.
Mine.
But it's true.
But, and then they come walking out with a man bun. Oh my!
It's a portal. They should change their logo from a target to like a portal, or maybe that's what the target symbol is. It is a portal.
We thought it was a target all along. The movies always make them blue, not red.
But speaking of Target,
okay,
Steve Jobs.
Okay.
Did you know that Steve Jobs would get a new Mercedes every 6 months?
Every 6 months?
Do you know why?
Mercedes, no.
So he didn't have to have a license plate.
I could deal with that.
Isn't that awesome? So he would literally buy a new car. Well, he probably had an assistant go buy him a new car or whatever every 6 months, just so he didn't have to have a license plate on his car.
Would he turn in the old one, or would he just keep that on? Yeah.
Who knows? Maybe the assistant bought it for like $5,000.
Just imagine being that salesman. Be like, and you want the S? I know what you want. Do you want to add anything else to it? Like, we have this and this and this.
He's probably getting to the top of the line one anyway. So,
all right. Just imagine being that salesman. Like, every 6 months, I know I have the top of the line Mercedes just sold.
Yeah.
But so okay, going back to Target.
Yeah.
And the whole bathroom thing. So there was this lady, and she saw this guy on Twitter, and this guy on Twitter was just looking at like 5 to 8 year old girls, and the woman was like, "What are you doing?" and like blowing it up and like.
This guy was in Target.
Just in the line. I don't even know what kind of line, if it was a store or what. It was like, "What are you doing?" And he was like, kind of like sheepish, and was like, "Are you a pedophile?" And he's like, "Well, we prefer to be called MAPs. Minor attractive persons."
Wow.
So when you hear the term MAP, that's minor attractive person. Yeah, run. Or shoot.
Crazy.
But, okay, so.
That's why we got the plank.
What? There's a theme song that has the word map.
A theme song?
Yeah. Directed towards kids.
What?
Dora the Explorer? Find the map. Find the map. Find the map. Find the map.
But Dora the Explorer was long, long before all that.
Mm-hmm. Do you think they were talking about, like, do you know
what Dora the Explorer is?
Just a little kid show exploring, finding treasure.
Yeah.
But, I mean...
Crazy.
I wouldn't put them past.
Yeah, but that was long before that whole term started coming into...
Well, into our knowledge. But
like, were they prepping it?
Yeah.
Who knows? Who knows? It's a sick topic.
It is.
Let's move on. So, I have a new job opportunity for you.
Ooh, was it like the last one?
It's a little bit different.
Okay, am I still going to be making 1.2 million a year?
You won't be making 1.2 million, but you have to go back in time.
Oh.
Yeah.
Shoot, man, that's the exciting part.
Yeah, right? So, back in the 1940s.
Okay.
Elevator operators.
Yes.
In New York City, basically to run an elevator, you had to have an operator.
And they didn't have the buttons.
Yeah, they made around, with adjusted income, about $50,000 a year.
Okay.
Which, to run an elevator, $50,000 a year seems pretty good. But in the 1940s, they had a strike. The elevator operators had a strike.
Okay.
And it cost. It cost the city $100 million for the strike because...
Oh, my.
Right? Especially $100 million back in the 40s, which would be...
Yeah.
An insane amount today. So, basically, during that time, basically all the mail, because these are high-rises, offices to the moon, basically, you would have... the mail couldn't get delivered because the elevator...
It couldn't go up.
Yeah. There's stairs, though, isn't there?
There is. I'm not lugging.
They're government workers. They're not climbing the stairs. But so basically, it was a huge problem.
Yeah. Well, everyone did mail. They probably had like
there's no email
crates.
Back then.
Like there was probably no way that you could get all the way up.
That's probably true. So so then they made a deal with the elevator union or whatever. They got their money. And then starting then, that's when they started the project of automating it and putting buttons.
The little button.
Yes. So they started working on that in the back end.
Why does a button to close the elevator never work?
That's for the next strike. No. So then the elevator operators, a few years later, had another strike because of wages, and they wanted to get paid more. Mm-hmm. Well, now the automation system was ready, and instead of paying them, they got rid of them, put all new automated elevators in the whole city, and then the world basically followed suit after that. Yeah. And bye-bye job.
Man, just imagine, that was the strike heard around the world.
It was. And I think with the coming of robotics, especially the Tesla bot and other companies, I just saw Google and a couple other ones are also investing heavily in robots that look like the Tesla robot. What do you call them? Not animatronic. Not animatronic. Humanoid.
Optimus Prime.
Yeah. In humanoid type robots.
Okay.
Which you think about it, wage, they keep wanting to raise minimum wage up. Mm-hmm. And then there's going to be a point when these robots are finally like ready to go that they'll be like, pull the trigger on the robots and bye-bye minimum wage jobs.
Yeah.
I think.
And also, so at that point, like what the governor of California, Gavin Newsom, he just made a law that all fast food joints that employ more than 100 people have to bump their minimum wage, I think, at $15 an hour to $20 an hour.
That's insane.
But he put in a little clause for his little buddy over at Panera Bread that if you have a bakery, that law isn't there and you can do the normal minimum wage of 15. And someone was doing the math, and it was like, that could save them, like, hundreds of millions of dollars. Yeah. And the donation that Panera Bread gave to Gavin Newsom was like $160,000.
Oh, my goodness.
It's like for $160,000, that was a well-made investment. Spent. Yeah.
Man, and they can keep their food prices roughly the same, where all the other fast food joints
they can just go just slightly below and just pocket that money.
Yeah. Yep.
Right? That's mind blown. Like, I'm just like, are you joking me right now?
But on the flip side, wouldn't Panera Bread have issues? Like, if I'm working at Panera Bread and I'm getting $15 an hour and McDonald's across the street is hiring for $20, I'd jump over, you know?
Yeah, if they're hiring.
Wow.
And right now, if you have a hire sign, you're just hoping for someone.
A warm body.
That will come to work.
Yeah.
I don't care what you do, just come.
You want a tinfoil hat story?
I don't have my tinfoil hat. But
your dreads will do.
I think I'll survive. Wait. There we go. So, I think
now you're good.
That will do.
So, there was some footage shown of it was a test run of a nuclear warhead that the U.S. shot into into the air or whatever, and there was this UFO, this like real footage. You could see it, a little disc-looking thing. It came down to this warhead. And it was like shooting. It looked like a light or
laser type thing.
Probably a laser.
Like pew 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 pew.
It was more like zzz, and the thing was flying very like erratically. It was like zzz, and then like fly in front of it and zzz, and then all of a sudden the warhead just started falling through the air.
Is that when Reagan got his idea for the
Star Wars?
The laser. I guess Star Wars program.
Maybe, but yeah, it was weird.
Yeah.
It's very weird. And whether I mean, yes, it's an unidentified flying object, but whether it's...
So, do you want to hear an interesting story?
Tell me.
Kind of about the little bzz
yes,
lasers.
I like bzz.
So, up in Alaska, they have these places that have like rows and rows and rows of diesel generators that just massive amount of
I mean, you're off the
electricity.
grid up there.
Off the grid, yeah. And they use that, like different universities will use that to study the universe and kind of what's out there.
Sounds like a cover.
Don't get ahead of me. But remember when Kim Jong-un, the North Korean dictator, was like doing his missile launches for testing?
He is now,
Well, when that was happening, that plant was shut down. And the missile testing didn't really go as planned. Because it just, you know.
So the generator shut down?
No, not the generators. The access to all the universities out there shut down.
Oh, so the school projects couldn't do their school projects anymore.
But I'm going to get an F on my final.
That's crazy. Because isn't HARP up there?
What?
HARP?
I'm sure someone has a HARP.
No, HARP, it's like an acronym for, what is it? I'm going to get roasted in the comments for this. It's...
no less than me. I don't even know what it is.
No, I'll have to come back next week with a full story on HARP. But like, gist of it, it's a lot of antennas and a lot of power, and there's rumors, does it do weather modification, but also does it do like Tesla weird, like zapping and what you're talking about.
Okay.
But I think HARP is somewhere over there.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'll come back next week with more what HARP stands for, because it's very interesting, especially if I can remember it.
Did you hear that Russia just launched a nuclear warhead into space via satellite?
No, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's just floating out there somewhere. Who knows where? Hopefully we know where.
What do you think it's gonna do, or what it's for?
To be honest, I think it's an EMP. Strike. Like, I don't like to strike a nuclear weapon down on the ground. It's kind of pointless these days.
Right.
Because you can strike one up and complete up in space, have an EMP strike a much broader area,
and have a much more effective.
And within a couple months to a year, like, you're going to have mass starvation, struggle. Like, there's going to be so many different struggles. Yeah, and that's one of the big thing of the preppers. Is if that happens, I'm prepared.
Right, and even if they did want to do the whole like nuke explosion type thing, I would think it would be common sense for an entity to do that as a first strike, knock everything out. So if they have any defenses or anything,
going to make an attack.
They would struggle or couldn't, and then it'd be easier to, lob missiles in or something. That's crazy.
Lob missiles or do a land attack or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Talking about land attack, the Chinese are coming in by the dozen. Probably more than a dozen, but
on the border.
Yeah,
it's crazy. The southern border is interesting.
Yeah,
I don't know if we want to go into that or not.
Sorry, I'm just on a.
I know tangent. It's interesting, but yeah. But so the Mariana Trench.
Down in the ocean. Yeah, it's like the deepest part.
Yeah. Okay. It's the deepest spot to be known to man. Okay. I guess. Yeah. There's probably deeper spots, but that's where we know. It's I think it's like 37,000 feet or something like that below sea level, obviously. Yeah. And Russia.
Is that where the Titanic sank?
No, I don't think there. Just the other one.
Oh, okay.
No.
The other deepest part, known to man.
So, Russia, up in their I think their Arctic area. They have drilled for like research purposes. They wanted to see how far they could drill into the earth and like, I don't know, figure out the makeup of the core, or not the core, but the ground.
To figure out what's down there.
Right. They drilled, I heard they drilled far, but I didn't realize how far they drilled. They drilled like 40,000 feet.
And what's the deepest part known to man?
37.
37. And so they went 3,000 feet.
Deeper. Yeah.
So what? 3/5 of a mile?
Sure.
Just over a half a mile deeper.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And it's supposedly, like, it's very hard to go that far because it sounds like it just gets super hot, basically, down there. And
the core of the earth.
Well, it's kind of funny.
On fire.
Right? That's kind of, I don't know. But they were saying that the rock or material down there, I think of it as rock because it's dirt, it's very pliable and like almost plasticky at that level. Because I'm guessing this is my very tiny knowledge and kind of surmise of the whole situation. I'm guessing because it's so hot down there, almost like a lava, or like because the core is so hot that maybe it's like...
That's completely different than what I was thinking.
Making the rock more jelly, like at the...
Maybe. I was thinking, you mentioned plasticky, and I was like, well, maybe the previous generations that gone before us that had built the pyramids and all that, maybe they realized that they used too many fossil fuels and it was bad for the environment, so they decided to bury it in the earth.
That's instead of pollute the ocean.
Yes, and so then we have this plastic layer way down below that we have found, going 40,000 feet deep to find this layer.
You're probably right.
You are
100% right.
That's why we're called conspiracy pirates.
So speaking of holes, that reminds me. I was listening to Ninjas Are Butterflies podcast. Have you heard of them?
Are those very quiet butterflies?
Yes, very quiet. Okay. They fight well. No,
butterflies that are warriors.
If you haven't heard about them, you should check them out. They're pretty cool. Yeah. They have a lot of good information. But anyway.
Yeah, you should tell them to come on our show.
Ooh, that'd be fun. We could dress them up like pirates.
We could. Or they can come dressed as pirates.
There we go. I like that one. We're not quite big. I think their channel's a little bit bigger, so they could probably afford it.
They probably have a bigger budget than we do.
But there is this... so have you heard of Coast to Coast AM?
No, I actually haven't.
What? You're going to get roasted in the comments. No,
I'm always going to be roasted.
So Coast to Coast AM is this radio program that kind of specializes...
Why would I know a radio program?
Because it's like everybody knows this. Just hold off.
Like iHeartRadio, yay.
It was more before our time when it was huge.
So I should know this because it was before my time. I'm going to get roasted by the 60-year-old. Thank you.
George Norrie, George Knapp. You don't know these people.
No.
That's it. This interview's over. No. So,
it's like asking me if I know the water polo teams. No, I don't know any water polo teams.
No, it makes
the only one I know is USA. And I may or may not watch them during the Olympics. I'm definitely not retaining any of their names. And I'm sorry, you water polo people. That is a brutal sport, and I have great respect for you, especially since I do not like being drowned by other people.
Are you done? Your water polo? No. So, on Coast to Coast AM, there's George Norrie and George Knapp. Honestly, I can't remember which one came first, but he established this program. Basically, it was a program...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Continue about your 6-year-old... what is it? Radio? Have we heard of radio before? What is this technology?
Do you have lead paint in your house? Because you wouldn't have gotten the signal. Just teasing. So, anyway, let's just go back to the story so we can make a nice short.
Okay. So we're going on long wave. Like, is this CB radios that we used during like World War II? Like, what kind of radios are we talking? AM.
Coast to coast AM.
So it's morning radio. Okay.
No, it's actually in the evening.
Okay, let's just
AM is a frequency. FM, AM, radio.
Why isn't it AM and PM? Why are we adding FM? And now I'm confused.
Because it's not a gas station.
You're talking FM versus AM. You're wanting me to know AM.
Yes.
Man, that brings back old memories. Good ones.
So, George Norrie has this radio program. It's kind of like our podcast, but it's for kind of UFO / strange events. And people could call in to the program, tell him their stories, and he would also kind of be a journalist and go out and do research on more realistic ones. Because, I mean, you get a lot of kooks, but then he would go and try to find out the ones that were legit. Anyway, and then present the story. So there was a guy, his name was Mel Watts, or...
Not Mel Gibson.
Oh, sorry. Mel Waters, I guess.
Okay.
He lived in Washington State.
Watermelon?
What are you talking about?
You said Mel Waters.
Yeah.
Watermelon.
Okay. I'm trying to remember the story, and you're just blowing it up. It's going to be a horrible short to make. No, okay. So
but he's definitely going to add the Mel Waters to watermelon.
So Mel Waters had this land in Washington State.
Gotcha.
And he, on his property, he had a hole. It was like a 9-foot diameter hole. And he was, folklore over time, people would, before he bought it, neighbors would throw their trash in it. Because they were like a bottomless pit, you know?
Huh.
And so they would throw their junk in. And then over the years, and it sounded like it continued even when he owned it. And then he's like, man, if people have been doing this for years, like, it's going to be coming up here real soon. So he was curious how deep it was. And I guess he did a lot of, what do you call it, shark fishing.
Okay.
So he had like, big reels and stuff. Mm-hmm. And he wanted to see how deep it was, so he dropped a weight in the line in, and it kept going and going and going. And, like, he kept buying more line and attaching it to keep going. He went 80,000 feet.
What?
And never hit the bottom.
Watch, his neighbor was probably coming in over at midnight, tying another weight and dropping it down. It's like, It's like, oh, I gotta get another fuel from the store. Goes and comes back, and there's like, he reels it up and then puts a weight down.
Or his neighbor owned the local tackle shop and rebundling it up and selling it to him.
He's just down there, just like.
So
this line looks familiar.
So he had 80,000 feet of reel, still never hit the bottom, supposedly.
Okay.
So this guy, he called in, the reason why we all know about it today, he called into the Coast to Coast AM radio program.
Okay.
He was telling his story about it, and he even said that other neighbors thought it was weird because one time, supposedly, a neighbor saw a black figure fly out of it.
Jeez.
Yeah. And then another neighbor said that because they like would throw trash in. They threw like dead animals in. He threw his dog in. He died. Just threw the carcass in. The next morning he woke up, his dog was alive on his front porch.
That's creepy.
Very creepy.
So he called into the radio station telling them this.
Yeah, telling him the story.
Okay.
So this is kind of a long story. And then from there, he went to drive. It sounded like it wasn't like close to his like house, like he had land. Okay. So he went to go drive out there another time. And when he went out there, this was after calling the Coast to Coast radio program, there was like armored personnel guarding the road to his property.
Like the military.
Yeah. So he didn't know that at the time. He goes up there and they're like, yeah, we're the military, blah, blah, blah. Can't go on this property because there was a plane crash. And he's like, no, this is my property. I'm gonna go. And they're like, no. And they threatened him by saying, because it sounded like he was growing municipal purposes plants
for extra cash flow.
And they're like, oh, if you like basically continue to cause a stink, we'll throw the book at you, basically. Okay. So then he kind of backed off for a while. And this
it's like, oh shoot, you know about that.
Yeah. Like, we know everything. So then it was like I think a year later, I think he got like a divorce or whatever. So then his like wife technically owned the land, and then he leased it back from her because he wanted the whole.
Okay.
But then in the meantime, the government offered a contract with him for $250,000 a month.
What?
Yeah. To lease. So he was a leaseholder, so they were subleasing this land from him. So then he was like, well, for $250,000 a month, sure, go for it. Go explore it. So he subleases it to the military or the government. He actually moves to Australia. To basically like retire type of deal.
Okay.
He's living in Australia. He has.
Mikey.
Yeah. Good day, boy. So he goes to Australia and he decides, you know what he wants to do with his life? He wants to house wombats and have a wombat rescue. I don't even know what a wombat is.
I don't even know what a wombat is.
But anyway, so he has this basically hobby thing that he's doing. $250,000. Turns out that the government puts a septic and does some digging or whatever on the property. According to the lease, the wife's lease,
that's not allowed.
That's not allowed, blah, blah, blah. So then he loses the sublease. So then the government finds out. They stop paying him altogether. And now...
What happened to the wombats?
Well, yeah. Get this. After the government stopped paying him altogether, the government also drained his bank account. Or, well, his bank account got drained, mysteriously.
What?
So now he's literally, like, penniless. So then he basically can't do the wombat thing anymore. He goes back to the U.S. or whatever.
Okay.
And, yeah.
All because he wasn't allowed to have a septic system on the land.
I know.
You have a bottomless pit.
I would be like,
and you need a septic system.
If you're making $250,000 a month, I'd be like, go to the ex-wife and be like, I'll buy this from you for $1 million. You know. Now he doesn't have to worry about the septic. But anyway, but what's crazy is, so before Google Maps, there was something called Microsoft something or other. And it was a satellite imaging thing. So George Norrie, or George Knapp, whichever one came first, can't remember.
Okay.
They're both Georges. Excuse me. The
Coast to Coast AM that did the PM slot.
Yes.
Okay.
So they would do, they would try to see if these people were legit. Like, they were actually pretty good at their job. Like, cycling through, and then they would, like, have open callers. Oftentimes, open callers would be people responding to the story and giving their opinion, or even, like, having a three-way, like, the,
yeah, I lived next to this guy, and he was crazy.
Yeah, or even that guy would be on the phone telling his story after it got all approved and everything through George Norrie. So they had the conversation, and then they would like open up a third line for people to even talk to him and everything. So that being said, this guy said that his area of the property where the hole was is like blacked out on the satellite imaging. There's like little, I think it was like white dots instead of black dots. But anyway,
well,
it was
black
blacked
dot
out.
would infer that it's a hole, a bottomless hole.
Right? So they made it white. So that was like, is that true or not? So then George Norrie got the software, looked it up, and it's true. That whole area of his property is blacked out.
Wow.
On the satellite mapping, and he put it on his sounded like at that point they did have an internet, so he put it on his website and everything. So like, it's crazy. Like, how much of it did he make up? How much of it is true? I mean, you still have that weirdness about it, but there's also like, why would it be blacked out? Like, if it's not true, it's just weird.
Yeah.
Craziness. But yeah.
That is weird.
It's crazy. Yeah. Do you have anything for me?
No. Let me see.
Because I've got a lot more.
Oh, you got a lot more?
I have a few more.
Okay, cool. Let's go with you then.
So this one I might read a little bit more. So.
Should we play the lullaby theme
Yes,
song?
lullaby. Please lullaby me away.
Just for those who are having a problem falling asleep late at night, tune into Crypto Pirates.
So there was a guy on YouTube, probably maybe 5-10 years ago at this point.
Okay.
Anyway, he opened up a portal in his bedroom.
Man, I'm making myself yawn.
Have you heard about this guy?
Sorry, say that again.
So there's this guy on YouTube that opened up a portal in his bedroom.
No, I haven't.
So there's a guy. He had his computer open, and he had this weird device in the middle of the room. And I don't think it's like some woo-woo device. I think, right? It's something. I just don't know what it is. It's like this. It looks like a Bluetooth speaker.
Okay.
I don't think it is, but he had. Actually, I think it was a Bluetooth speaker. Now that I think about it and put 2 and 2 together, wow. So,
are you sure it wasn't a woo-woo device?
We're gonna sell woo-woo device. Anyway, so this guy, let's restart. Have you heard of the guy? Can't even talk now. So he had this. I hate you. You're gonna walk the plank. No.
But I might fall into a woo-woo device and be saved.
All right. So this guy had a Bluetooth speaker on the middle of his bed.
Okay.
And on his desk, he had his laptop, and he had the laptop open to a frequency, just a sound like automator of a frequency of 528 hertz.
Okay.
And it was like a pure 528 hertz or whatever. No other
that
sound.
His speaker was playing.
Yeah. So it was making that noise and sound, and after just like a few minutes of making it, there's portal started opening up like 3 feet above his bed, and it got to be about like that big after a couple minutes, and it was like a window, and you could see through it, and
that's not good.
And what was like on the other side, it was a place in Arizona was there. And what's interesting is this place in Arizona, I'm trying to Sedona.
It was place that has that little weird pyramid out there in Arizona.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. This is in Sedona. Is the pyramid in Sedona?
I have no clue.
Okay. So, but Sedona, Arizona is also known for having like energy, like weird energies in the area, and like a lot of native tribes have always known this. I don't know, to be an energetic area, and people go there to try to be healed and stuff like that in Sedona. And it just happened. This portal opened up, and you could see through, and you could see it on camera, and like see it was Arizona, or Sedona. And then the guy went missing. As far as like on YouTube, like nobody.
Oh, Okay.
Yeah. So nobody's heard.
So he jumped through the portal, and you never heard of him again.
Or did he get nabbed because he figured something out that he wasn't supposed to?
Yeah. Talking about getting nabbed is kind of like those crypto billionaires that randomly die or go missing. He's just like, what? It's like, maybe I don't want to become too rich with cryptos. Like there was this one billionaire that through cryptos, and he was like turned geek to like life of the party because he had all the money, and he like got this new girlfriend and like this level like 10.
He leveled up.
Yeah. And so and then like he does this like one little video of like, my girlfriend's from the CIA and they're going to kill me. And then he ends up dead like in the ocean somewhere or something.
That's crazy. That I don't understand why they would care. Like,
well, so for me, it might have been the CIA, it might have been some other high entity. It's like once you get to that level, like if you look at all those people like Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, even like smaller level.
Yeah.
Like your Andrew Tate, he has like a huge bodyguard. Like you're just like, you're
a target.
Yeah.
I can see where you're a target to society and people and stuff like that. But as far as like the CIA and all that, it's like, I mean, they can literally go print $1 billion if they need it or want it. You know, like why would they care if an individual has $1 billion?
Probably because they had enough money to kind of do some investigation on some of the curious stuff they were curious about.
Yeah. Like they wanted to open a portal.
So, talking about that, do you know McAfee, the antivirus software? Yeah. So, John McAfee, the guy that created it, he had some like vacation home down in, I think, Belize or something like that, Central America.
That makes sense.
And he was down there, and the CIA that was down there started like behaving weird and trying bullying him and type of stuff. And so I was like, I'm just going to push a software update. And so he pushes the software update to the computer so he can see everything that they're doing. So once they hit update, he had like full access to everything. And he was going through some of the files, and he was like, no joke, these guys are running the drug and human trafficking.
Wow. Crazy.
It's like, what?
Now that's a tinfoil hat story for you.
Yeah.
That is crazy. Man.
And he was the one that said, you're responsible for your safety and for pretty much keeping your money.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you make $1 million in a single year, what is the government going to do?
Right.
They're going to take half of that.
Yeah.
Say, thank you.
Yeah. Good job.
But we appreciate your hard work.
Good job. Go do it again.
Yeah.
That's crazy. This I found interesting. So you know how like back in the 1800s, especially and like early 1900s, like a lot of people, especially of well-to-do and wealthy people, always had canes in their hands.
Huh. Yeah.
Do you know what they were used for?
Woohoos?
Sort of. Like grounding rods.
So they wouldn't get shocked by lightning?
So there's been studies on if you're like well grounded, it's actually very good for you and good for your body. And they were going into how like a lot of like old shoes that were made were also metal or had lots of metal on them to conduct. Canes were made out of metal or metals of some kind and wood, which are conductors or can be conductors.
Well, it's very, very low on conducting, but yeah.
Yeah.
They have a little bit of conductivity to them.
And but nowadays, shoes have rubber soles, which are not conductors.
Okay.
And canes, nowadays canes that like old people use.
You put the tennis ball
or rubber little feet on it. So, what did they know that we don't?
Interesting.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
I mean, I've heard of people talking about being grounded and like going over to the ocean for vacation and walking the beach barefoot, and it's supposed to be very good
for your health.
Yeah, especially for like kids growing up.
Right.
Like, I mean, I grew up running around barefoot, and like my mom was like, "Put on shoes."
Yeah.
You know.
Right. Was your mom part of the CIA?
But I remember one time like going, like I had a friend that was on the other side. Like we had this block in the country, and it was just like this little loop. And I ran to like my friend's place without shoes.
Yeah.
And it was like dead summer, so it was like 110 degrees out.
On the asphalt,
and
yeah.
And then you would jump off onto the grass like,
That's funny. Man. But yeah, grounding rods.
And then your feet are black.
But I think cane should come back. As far like, I mean, it was like a very stylish instrument that people would have.
So if you wear rubber shoes, you could have a metal cane.
And then you could get some grounding.
Right.
Maybe we should start selling canes.
I also heard, talking about grounding.
Yeah.
I also heard like if you stick some sort of metal down in the ground, and then have like a copper rod coming back out, and you send electricity through it, that your plants will grow significantly more.
Does your plants have to be touching this thing, or just be in vicinity of this?
I think it's the vicinity.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I want to try that.
Yeah.
We should get like a little tomato plant.
Play classical music while doing that. Your plants are going to be huge.
We have tomatoes the size of like...
it's coming back to the watermelons.
Yes, watermelons. Perfect circle.
Right.
Okay. I got a crazy story.
More crazy? Than having a tomato the size of a watermelon.
Yeah. So... have you heard of the red heifer sacrifice? Okay, going back for credit.
Oh, like Old Testament?
Yes.
Bible? Yeah.
Heard this, again, Ninjas and Butterflies, reaching out. Go subscribe to them. But first subscribe here and then go subscribe there. But I heard it from them, who they also heard it from, I believe, Blurry Creatures.
Okay, so this is a story of a story of a story.
But I also went back and listened to the Blurry Creatures as well. Okay. So go to Blurry Creatures.
Well, I mean, I've heard it from other circles too, so I don't think they're the only ones.
No, they're not. But I'm just telling you where my source is coming from. But okay.
Wikipedia. Don't tell my teachers.
So, the red heifer. So, when there's only been 9 red heifer sacrifices.
That's not that many.
Since Moses.
So like 4,000 years.
Yeah.
Over 4,000 years, they've only had 9.
9.
Their batting average is low.
Yeah. And the reason why is to find a perfect, it literally has to be a perfect red heifer. So it has to be between the age of like 0 to 3. It has to have 0 blemishes. It can't have a single white hair on it. It has to be completely red. They have to measure like the hoofs, like every part of it has to be perfect, basically.
Wow.
So that's why they haven't had any sacrifices for all these years, like literally 2,000 years. And so what's interesting is when they do.
So a heifer is a cow, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So when they have a red heifer sacrifice, they also mix the ashes. So they keep the ashes or some of the ashes from the last sacrifice, who also had some of the ashes from the last sacrifice.
Interesting.
So when they found the Dead Sea Scrolls,
yes,
they also found this canister with the red heifer ashes.
How did they know that it's the red heifer ashes?
Don't know. I don't know. I think there was a copper scroll inside of it too. And they can probably do like DNA testing to see what kind of ash. I don't know on that part. Yeah. So anyway, they know this was the red.
I mean, they could have also, yeah.
But I mean, just
they probably have like a record.
Yeah.
Of who had all these, and then like this person went missing, and they like okay.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And being of like this importance, they would
to the Jewish community, yes.
So going back to the story, so basically, supposedly the next time that a red heifer is going to be sacrificed is going to be the basically the initiation of starting building the third temple.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So.
And they're ready to build it too.
Yeah.
Like they've been waiting for a while now.
So listen to this. So in Texas, our Texas, y'all, they found.
Are you talking about tax season, Texas?
No. So in Texas, there's a ranch there that only breeds red heifers, but they, not for this purpose, but they just breed red heifers. They happen to have five to be exact, red heifers that match this exact.
5 of them?
Yeah. So they came over from Israel, the head people or whatever, the
Jewish synagogue.
I know, I can't think of it.
Not priests.
Yeah, I know, but those types of people. They came
not
over.
Monks. Man, I'm thinking of everything you said. Right?
They came over to Texas to inspect and make sure. They found these 5 that matched up perfectly. They bought all 5 of them. They shipped them back to Israel.
Okay.
And now, I think in the transit or whatever, or just over age, maybe they turned over 3. Basically, 2 of them dropped out. 2 of them aren't perfect anymore, whatever.
Yeah.
And these, like literally, when I say perfect, no white hair, nothing. It has to be a cow that no one has leaned on. Like the guideline is so specific. Anyway, so they've got 3 left. And we have 8 or 9 months until all 3 of those turn over 3.
Wow.
So basically, in the next 8 or 9 months, it'll be very interesting to see if one of them is sacrificed.
That is crazy.
It's weird.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
Like all these Old Testament stuff that's coming up.
Yeah.
You're like, these are all coming up, and they're very close.
Very close.
And then you're like, yeah.
Yeah. It's almost
and then, like all the chaos that's going on politically and everything.
Yep.
Like there'll be a savior that kind of comes out. And then they're talking about them making a new Bible. Have you heard of the AI Bible?
Very little. Like I heard basically what you said, an AI Bible, but I don't know anything more about it.
Okay, so pretty much what they're doing is that they're programming an AI to pretty much combine all the different all the different religions all into one.
Okay.
And then that's going to be like the all-knowing, all-wisdom Bible or whatever.
Wow.
But the thing is, you're already going to have that be manipulated. Like you're writing codes, and I'm almost 100% guarantee you that they're not writing codes saying match all these and make like the perfect everything that everybody agrees on, bring it together. I bet they're just like, here's the narrative.
Yeah.
Bring the different versions from all the different ones into this version.
Yeah. That's
and so there's probably going to be a lot of gaps, a lot of holes into it.
Crazy.
But yeah.
And then one world currency.
One world currency.
Yeah.
One world government. Like,
Crazy.
it might be before the 2030 deadline. I mean, with chaos, you can have that happen.
Yeah.
Without chaos, you probably that slow timeline that they were wanting.
Right.
Because it used to be 2021 was their agenda 2021.
Yeah.
And then that bounced to 2030.
Yeah.
And so the more you get that information out there, the further it will bounce.
Right. That makes sense.
And then you have like people that their fathers were high up in the Nazi regime. Okay. Like leading the the World Economic Forum with Klaus Schwab. It's like textbook classic. Like,
evil people.
Right? Like something you would be like, all right, we want to make a bad guy.
Yeah.
Be Marvel in a movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like textbook, that's your guy. And what's the agenda is also textbook, like evil. You're just like, how is this not like
setting off alarm bells by everybody? Yeah, it's unbelievable. But
oh well.
Yeah. Oh well. Subscribe, like, subscribe.
Right. I don't know if I'm pre-trib, post-trib, or mid-trib belief, but I'm hoping it's pre.
Yeah. That's so true. So true. But yeah. Anything else? Does that conclude episode 15?
I think that's 15 right there.
Awesome. Like, subscribe, help us grow, and come back next week.